So this is the theory exercise to recognize those chords that we've been practicing in inversion. That's one way of doing those chords, inversions, going up and then going down, or constantly going up in the left hand, especially practice in your left hand. But if visually you want to be able to see it, first of all, your chord is called a triad because it has only 3 different notes, C, E, and G, for example, which is this example. Then the second thing to notice is the shape of them is different. What are their shapes? When the notes are touching, it means it's a skip on the keys, right? So you could see from here that this is actually A because the name of your chord is up there. That shape is similar to this shape, but in that first one, it's way up here. And the shape is that the bottom 2 are touching, so you have touching, and then you have a little gap. Let me change the color to red. You have a little gap right on top between the top note and the middle note. And so on the piano, it means 2 keys in between. So that's the first example in treble clef. It's a C chord. The root note, the name of your chord, is on top for all of these first inversions. So you see it in the music and you see that shape, you say, oh, what's this chord? Oh, just look at the top note. The second example here in bass clef is this one. You just look at this shape in general and you say, oh, that's first inversion. Where's the name of the chord? It's on top. So you only need to recognize the top note and say, oh, that's an A. Oh, it sounds minor. So it's an A minor. And then the third example here in treble clef, it's the same shape again. It's just that the bottom note is sharp. So let's just find the shape first. The top note is A, so it's this shape with a skip and a gap, or a third and a fourth. Now the bottom note is sharp, so I have to push my hand in order for my thumb to be on a sharp. So that is that chord. I do not expect you to be able to find the notes and play. At the beginning, you just have to recognize it visually speaking. So this is a theory exercise. And then finally, the last one in bass clef, the top note is a D, way below middle C, and then you count a gap, and then you count a skip. This is your chord. You recognize it by shape. So D what? Minor. If you don't know by the sound of it, then you flip this one down and you'll recognize that it's D, F, A. I'm moving it up so you can see my hand. So it's D minor. So this is recognizing first inversion. And well, they gave it to you, right? They tell you. But now you have these to write in. Oh, let me erase everything. You have to write in which chord it is. You have to recognize which chord. Sometimes they trick you and they put a chord that's not in first inversion in there. But I think you would recognize that this is not first inversion. That's just the root position, right? And I hope you do recognize this is not first inversion. It's not the same shape. Can you start seeing the difference between the first inversion and not the first inversion? So this was not first inversion. This is not first inversion. This is not first inversion, right? So you can see and start to recognize things that are not first inversion. Everybody else are first inversion. And then what are the names of these chords? Well, it's just whatever note is on top. Then you can name the chords. So that's the exercise. And of course, you do have a practice to do with all just first inversion. So these are, you could see by the shape of them, they're all first inversion. And then if you recognize the note on top, then you can name all your chords. And it just moves up. So basically that exercise is, and I'm doing just the, let's do just the left hand because I recommend you do left hand. So I'm way down here, and the top note here is C. So it's C, first inversion. E, G, C. Then you move the entire hand up exactly with the same distance. Then you got the D right here. Then this one is E minor. D and E were minor. Then you move entirely the hand up, that's F. Then you move up to G. Then you move up to A. And the D, B is a diminished chord, and back to C major. So you're playing all first inversion chords of the key of C major. And that's the shape of them. Then you can practice your right hand separately before you're putting your two hands together if you like. Then you have a page to recognize second inversion. So the shape of the first inversion was the two notes touching each other were at the bottom. The shape of the second inversion is that the two notes touching each other are at the top. Where's the name of the chord? It's right in the middle, the note that's darkened. So on top you have a third, an interval, and then a fourth. So these are just examples of how to recognize the name of your chord, which is the darkened note. And then when you play it, then you don't recognize if it's major or minor by ear, flip it back to the original position. So what is second inversion? The first example I circle in purple is this one. It's the C. If you cannot hear whether it's C major or minor, then you flip it back up, because second inversion goes up to the root position. Oh, it's a C major. Now you recognize the shape of the root position. How about the second example here? Well, you recognize the note in the middle as A. Then there's a skip, and then there's a gap between the middle note and your pinky, right? So here it is, what's written. And it's A minor. But if you don't recognize by ear, just flip it up. Flip this one at the bottom up and find the root position. Then you'll recognize that it's an A minor. Because I gave you a little, for those of you who really cannot hear, even here, you can count number of half steps. For a minor chord, the number of half steps between the bottom note and the middle note in the root position, in the original position, is 1, 2, 3, 3. From the middle note to the top note is 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 3 and 4 half steps. Whereas the major chord is here. It's a 4 and then a 3 half steps. So that's for those who cannot recognize by ear. And so go back to that video where I show you the shortcut to finding any major or minor chord to really master 3 and 4, 4 and 3 kind of thing before you start doing, of course, inversions. Practice before you actually do inversion on paper. So let's do the third one. The note in the middle is darken is A. This is second inversion, so I have a skip on top and I have a fourth at the bottom, right? From here to here is a fourth, from here to here is a third. But then the top note is being sharp, so I have to move my pinky up. I curl my fingers so you could see better, which I'm pressing down. So this is an A chord. Is it major or minor? If you cannot hear it, flip it up. Oh, A major, because from here to here, it's 4 half steps from the bottom to here. So that's A major inversion. And the last one is D is a darkened note. There's a third, and here's a fourth. So second inversion, D. D what? Major or minor? If you can hear it, just say D minor. If you cannot hear it, flip this back up here, then count your number of half steps, and you'll realize that from here to here is 3, from here to here is 4, D minor. And just like the other page, I would strongly recommend you print it and then actually write and recognize which ones are not. You can recognize this one is not. This one is not second inversion, right? This one is not second inversion. This one is not. The two notes have to be touching each other on top, right? For it to be a second inversion. Then you have to name them. The ones left over to name is the note in the middle. So that would be a D major. And if you don't know, then you just have to replace it into root position and play it to hear it, or count your half steps. And this one to name it is the note in the middle, which is treble clef G chord, etc. So those of you who are really wanting to progress in reading your chords and not having to read each single individual note, but recognize the shape of your chord, recognize whether it's in first or second inversion, and know where the name of your chord should be situated. For this second inversion, it's always the note in the middle. So you just have to recognize the note in the middle. I can't draw. That's an E minor chord. After you already taken out the other ones, you can name all your second inversion chord. This one is an F because the note in the middle is F. This one is an A and it's major because the middle note is A. And this one is a D because the middle note is D, but it's a minor one. So it takes another step for you to find out if it's major or minor. And then, of course, just like the other page, you have a whole bunch of second inversion to play. So if I do left hand is a second inversion of C major, right? Because originally it was here. We flip it down. And then I just move the entire hand like a little block of statue up one notch. You got the D, because the name of your chord is here. D minor, the entire hand moves up. E minor, the entire hand moves up. F major, entire hand moves up. G major, entire hand moves up. A minor, and the entire hand moves up. That's a diminished chord, B diminished, and back to C, second inverted. So this is a theory exercise, but you can also try to just do your, what do you call, practice with it as well.